famous saying we say it's not the color that makes the priest, it is the vocation. Because your identity already has communicated with what you are wearing. So when I tell people about vocation, I used to tell them that there are three segments in vocation. The first is to be human. The second is to be a Christian. And then the third is this vocation to choose either to serve God in a married life or priesthood or religious life, as the case may be. And it also falls in line with that of the Salesian spirituality, reason, religion, and loving kindness.
Hello, viewers, and welcome to another episode of Vocation. Vocation, from its Latin origin, vocatio, means to call or to summon. On today's episode, we shall be looking at the vocation story of Reverend Father Justin Oguocha. Welcome, Father.
Thank you very much.
So, how are you, Father?
I'm very fine.
I'm already telling them that you're a priest. Because
Yes.
But why is it that you're not putting on a Roman collar to show our viewers that you're actually a priest and things like that?
The famous saying we say it's not the color that makes the priest, it is the vocation.
Wow.
So, habit does not make a monk.
That's a good one. That's a good one. But the people need to really understand that, because sometimes you go to the parish and you're just on a mufti, like a simple mufti, clean, well put in place, and all that. Like, who is that person looking at you? And you just, somebody that knows you say, oh, that person is a priest. But why is someone putting the collar on? All these kind of things.
Yeah.
Anyway, but does it have is there a particular reason why you're not wearing a collar or a castle or God? Like, is there a particular reason?
I would not say there is a particular reason, but sometimes I like people to address me like a human being, irrespective of the attire or the clerical wear, because it is in that moment that people really show who they are and not what you think they are. Sometimes with what they see, it conditions them to address you in a particular way, because your identity already has communicated with what you are wearing.
Condition them.
Yes.
Yeah.
So when you're normal attire, they relate to you the way they relate to any
other
being, and that is their real identity.
Great. I love this. Well, let's go to the questions. So, Father Justin, please, can you tell us a bit something about yourself?
All right. Just as you said, Father Justin Oguocha. I belong to the religious congregation of the Salesians of Don Bosco, presently working in our community located at Obosi in our Onitsha Archdiocese.
Great. So, when did you begin to nurse this idea of becoming a priest? When did it start?
Normally, when I think about the moment it started, sometimes to the hearing of those who listen to me, they are like seriously. But I continue to say it, and anywhere I'm asked about it, I continue to say the same thing. My vocation story began at the age of 6. From that very age, I was in a primary school in an environment trained by the Sisters of the Immaculate Heart of Mary. And the environment was so conducive that at that young and tender age, the only thing I could understood is to become a priest, but not whether they're Christian or religious, just to become a priest. And this time I find myself in the church where there are ordinations, maybe diaconate, priestly, or even I happen to also attend one of the consecration of a bishop. I feel like I want to be among them. I feel the image is like an image of holiness, and I just want to be among them.
Great.
And since then, I nurtured the vocation until the moment I joined the Salesian.
So why the Salesian? Why not?
Beautiful question. Why the Salesians? Actually, when I finished my secondary school, I wanted to join any diocese, especially the one from where I belong.
But which is that?
Oka Diocese. Okay. I belong to Oka Diocese. So when they gave me the conditions that after secondary school it may be difficult to enter, except I passed through the secondary seminary school, it was difficult. I tried also near the diocese where I resided at that moment. Still, it didn't work. So A priest from my village, when I told him about the situation I was facing and how I don't want to think about any other thing except this vocation to the priesthood. He said in there's some seminary, it may be difficult to begin, but maybe I should try religious congregation. That was when I realized that when we talk about priesthood, there's a religious priest
And
and
the
there's a sound
diocesan
priest.
priest.
I
Okay.
never understood the difference. Until that moment, I was asked to go towards that direction. So the choice to become a religious was not my choice, but was a proposal that I accepted. But for Salesian congregation, I read a book, that this popular book they call Ambassador in
Okay.
Nigeria, where you find the names of religious
Oh, okay,
congregations.
okay, okay. Yeah,
So
yeah, yeah.
reading through the religious congregations we have in Nigeria, I came across the Salesians of Don Bosco. And when they talked about the apostate as youth, I said, seems he's touching something about me. Because anything to do with children, to be among them easily, make friends with them, and then interested in their own good, I felt in love that maybe my passion can be linked to the passion of the Salesians. And then in that way, their spirituality grows in me. And then I continue nurturing this desire to work for young people. So through a friend, I came in contact with the address of Salesians
And you
in
visited.
Boston, and I visited.
Oh, great, great. So,
Yes,
can you tell us? Okay, now you're installation. We all know now that you're
yes,
installation.
now the
Well,
Salesians.
can you tell us and the viewers the process that it took for you to become a Salesian first of all? Because
Yes,
I know that there's a difference between being a Salesian and being a Salesian priest. I think
yes.
maybe you could help us expatiate on that.
All right. So as the case may be, we are first Salesians before a Salesian priest. For me, it all started um, 14 years ago when I began my stage of aspirantate. I took that stage more or less like coming to see the life, the basic understanding of what it means to belong to a religious congregation, what it means to be in a Salesian community, what it means to serve the young people, and all that. So that was the actual beginning of my stage. It was for 1 year. And after aspirantate, if there was a moment I was not too sure whether is it something I can do, because coming into Salesian congregation, I used to be on very low cut. I don't wear jeans. That since I tried to put aside because I don't want it to be. But when I came into Salesian congregation, hey, it was like you don't need to, like what John Bosco told Domissar, you don't need to carry a stone and use for a penance. Just do your ordinary things in an extraordinary way with love. Do your duty and all that. So I said, wow, okay. The most important is to be decent, do what you have to do at the right time, and then do it with love. So I said, okay. So I deconstructed my conception of becoming a priest in the aspirantate and then reconstruct it to what it should be, being human and
Be a
yes,
good person.
just good, be a good person. Then to continue to nurture my vocation to the next stage of pre-novitiate, where I did more formation on human formation and how to become a human. It's not easy just to be a human being, but to understand what it means to be human and all the nitty-gritty details that stage of formation that helped me to relate well with people in the community and then in my place of apostolate. And then after 1 year of pre-novitiate, I moved to novitiate, where I also did my 1 year of more of spiritual formation with other things that are needed also in that formation, but it was more of spiritual formation. And then after 1 year of novitiate, I went to post novitiate, where I did my philosophical studies, intellectual formation, how to reason, to sharpen the brain, and to use my philosophy as a tool to analyze things that happen around me and to become self-conscious, where we're not artificial intelligence, by the way, in the context of the
Exactly.
communication we could just finished. Yeah, self-consciousness. That's the moment you really learn how to do things because you know you have to do it, not because it is human. You are human, then you are prone to that. No, no. Do things with reason, and also falls in line with that of the Salesian spirituality, reason, religion, and loving kindness. And then after my 3 years of philosophical studies, I was sent for my pastoral training, very practical training But when I'm in a public arena like this, I use the word pastor so you understand more, where you go into practical aspect of what you have been taught over the years. And in that process of practicing it, you also learn in the doing, because there are things that when you are bombarded with theory, if you do not make it part of you, you don't inculcate it to be part of your life. So I really learned a lot. And that was also another stage I thought within myself whether I'm in the right place or not. There is no moment when you sometimes ask this question. It means you're just following like as if everything
like
is
sheep.
Yes, you
Like
have to
sheep,
reason.
head of sheep.
Exactly. So it was really tough moment. I worked with the students of technical school those days in Akure when we had our job tech there, and then also helped out in the youth center. It was a beautiful experience of them challenging me and me overcoming the challenge, which made me stronger. Living the practicality of community life where you have to make some decisions on your own, not only waiting now. Knowing the formation is like timetable somehow from beginning to the end. But this time around, there is the only timetable is the common moments of the community, and you have to respect that and then find way to do other things you have to do in the course of the free hours of the community that are meant to be with the young or doing what will benefit the young people. So, as the Lord have it, towards the end of my 2 years practical training, I felt like let me go more for studies before going for theology. But the provincial said, no, but the council is thinking maybe you should go for theology. I said, wow. Give me the advantage of that, and then I can do the studies much later. It's okay. Behold, I am available. Let it be done to me according to your word.
So, you being denied the opportunity to go for further studies, did it have any setback for your progression in your formation?
Okay. Actually, there was no setback in that sense, because the passion to go for a further study was not there. Actually, it was not there. But I felt like if I'm given opportunity to go for further studies before theological studies, that I would like it. But when I was asked, we are thinking of the way even Provincial presented it, we are thinking of giving you 1 year. I was like, okay. I want to know.
Want 1 year?
I want to know what that 1 year would be doing. I will be doing around that, within that year. But he said, okay, we have gotten the report, the assessment from your community, and we have also discussed in the council. We have decided that you have to go to Kenya, Nairobi precisely for your theological study. I said, wow. Then I was like, Father, can you put it into writing?
Okay.
Maybe I'm not hearing well, maybe I'm dreaming. He said, yes, I will communicate to your rector as soon as possible so I can begin to process everything. I said, yes. In fact, in my entire life, that was the first time I slept excitedly. That the first night I just slept that night. That night, I would not say I slept, but I was just laughing and smiling the whole night until morning.
Why was that? Were you not expecting to go to
that moment?
For theology?
No, with the challenge of practical training, I wasn't very sure whether I would be given a chance to go there. So I was thinking, in case they say they want to give me 1 year, I want to use it for studies. Not to just wait for another 3rd year practical training, but for
studies. That was why the studies came.
Yes.
Okay.
It was really tough already.
Great.
What was a moment of a formation also.
So what's now happened? I mean, you now went to theology, you went to Kenya.
Yes.
A beautiful place, Nairobi,
sure.
And all of that. I've been there twice.
Yes.
And it's a place to be actually. So that's where you actually spent like 4 good years of your life.
Without coming back to the country.
Without coming back to the country. Right. So tell us about Nairobi. Tell us about your experience.
Okay. My experience in Nairobi was a beautiful one. Entering the country and with the very, very first shock of the kind of cold that I met there to welcome me, it was like you're wearing a lot of things and still it was still as if you're not wearing anything. But anyway, a warm welcome from all the conference that are from my province, right from the airport. So it was like a grand welcome. I was the only Nigerian in my set. I was like, you meet people who are helping you to land well, then
Okay.
it's going to be a smooth transition from Nigeria to Kenya to begin the studies. The whole 4 years experience of theological studies and pastoral experience was a beautiful one, an inspiring one. Getting to know God in details in the scripture and the whole ramification of the branches of theology.
Mm.
And then also uh, going higher from what I used to know, what I thought was true, what I had been hearing. Things were clarified, my doubts were cleared, and a lot of knowledge in it.
Good.
And it helped me to grow in the knowledge of God and humanity. And the people of Kenya also are grateful people to stay with. They helped in the experience of living with people, and at the same time welcoming. At least I know in up to 3 different places where I worked was before working with them, and then being open to learn. So when they hear that I'm from Nigeria, that's like, you have a lot of things to offer. And then any small thing you do in animation is like, wow. And it gives a lot of motivation to do more for them.
Great. Now, after the theological studies, you were ordained a deacon in Nairobi. Then you came back to Nigeria. After some time, you went back to Nairobi, right?
No. Okay. After my theological studies, I forgot to say that I did my perpetual profession. That completed the first profession after my novitiate.
Oh, yes.
Yes. That was when I gave full salvation of Don Bosco on that perpetual vow.
So, but we're talking about being a salvation first and then being a priest. They are two different things.
Yes.
So what Father Justin just said now is his perpetual profession makes him a bona fide member of the Salesian congregation, the Salesian family. So you have the first profession and you have your final profession. So that makes you a full-time religious, a Salesian. So you can just stop there and say, okay, this is what I want to do forever. Just a Salesian. I don't want to be a priest. When a priest, you can take your own thing. I don't want to continue to be a priest. But you can just stay there. And you can still say, okay, no, let me continue this process to become a priest and become now a Salesian priest. And things like that. So, Father Justin, please continue. The story is very interesting.
Yes. Okay, so after my theological studies, I did write my application to become a deacon, a transitional deacon to be precise. And then after some months of service in the diaconate ministry, I also applied without any external or internal compulsion. Full freedom. I applied to lay down my life as a priest for the young people, and I was accepted. And thank God, I came back to the country, Nigeria, and I was ordained a Salesian priest.
Great.
So about 2 years now. We get into 3 years.
Wow.
Very fast.
A young one. But it doesn't seem so because of the whole experience and all of that.
Yes.
For a Salesian, even though you're just 1 year a priest, 1 year a priest in the service as a priest, it will be as if you're already 10 years a priest.
Yes.
Because the experience that you've gained all through these years, I mean, they are second to none. I'm a testimony to that. So, this is really wonderful. I really enjoy, your vocation story. I believe our audience, or rather our viewers, have also enjoyed. But I want to ask one other question. Might seem a little bit controversial, however, but I think to ask. Looking back through your vocation history to this moment, would you say, or is it right to say that you are living a fulfilled life?
Wow. A beautiful question also. I remember on that day of my ordination when after the consecration prayer, they changed the diaconate stole to a priestly stole, and then they put on the chancel, and I was asked to turn and greet the people. When I turned back and looked at the crowd who were there waving back at me, I just said in my heart, at last, oh powerful master, I've embraced what I've desired.
From
Oh,
childhood.
yes.
Oh, that's beautiful.
So it was a beautiful moment for me. And since then, each day, I used to tell myself, thank God, I remained in the choice. I didn't say I made the choice, because I made the choice long ago. But I said I remained in the choice to serve God in this life, and most especially in the Salesian congregation. And looking at what began to happen, because in the end of a particular stage of life is the beginning of another.
Yeah.
So beginning the phase of Salesian priesthood life became another story.
Yeah.
Yes, now they are given a higher responsibility, not the type that I was given when I was still in the formation. So beginning the ongoing formation, as we used to call it, was a moment of now owning some act of responsibility, taking decision in life of people, and fulfilling some duties expected of you in the religious life and in the community. It was another story. Another story that now all that I have been taught, all that I have been formed all these years, now it is time to live it.
Great.
And each day, I tell my people that I'm happy and fulfilled. Great. And that is what is making me fatter. Not the food.
The fatness is fulfillment fat.
It's not like fat because each time the work can be very stressful. Imagine you do a lot of work you do and you don't receive any pay. And people are just imagining, where do you get fulfillment from? I say I renew my energy because I find fulfillment doing it for the one who called me and the reason for whom I'm doing it for. So only in him I find fulfillment in my vocation.
Vocation, a call. To call or to summon. So he's doing it for the one who summoned you, who called you by your name. He knew you right from your mother's womb. Man, wonderful. Father Justin, can you share some words of advice to young people who may be considering this form of life, this form of living their existence? We have people here who want to be like Shokwe, the cameraman, wants to be a Salesian. I mean, he's jokingly saying it, but I mean, words of advice.
All right. Oftentimes when I tell people about vocation, I used to tell them that there are 3 segments in vocation, not as defined by the church, but defined by my own life of vocation history. The first is to be human. We are called to be human. That's first vocation. The second is to be a Christian. That is through the baptism. And that through the baptism, the vocation to be a Christian is like vocation to holiness. And then the third is this vocation to choose either to serve God in a married life or priesthood or religious life, as the case may be. But one who wants to answer his call to Salesian religious life, I prefer to use that word, you may discern whether to become a priest or brother in the process. Because what you do not know or see, you only encounter in the making and the process. So I encourage the person to, first of all, nurture the love of God within himself. The love of God that passes through me to my neighbor, and the desire to serve God in humanity without any pay. Once that is in the mind and you are passionate about it, you are serious about it, just be good in the process, and then be open to the formation that comes with the process. And then before you know what's happening, normally when you think about the years, it's very, very long. My day.
Don't discourage
them. It's very long. But one step after that, when you begin it, just concentrate on each stage and what it offers. Before you know what's happening, you realize that it is very short.
Yeah. Thank you very much. I'm blessed by your words. I'm blessed by your story. Not just your story, the way you presented it. There was a time I was feeling some kind of chills in me, like seriously on a serious note. Thank you so much for sharing your life, your vocation to us, to the viewers, and to the young people all over there who are seeking and searching.